CrochetObjet knitting. If you are new here, my name is Mo. I'm a left-handed crocheter and a right-handed knitter, and after years of teaching mainly right-handed people, I decided to teach also here on YouTube. In this crochet tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to join crochet solid squares using the single crochet through back loop method. I use US crochet terms, so a single crochet is like a double crochet in the English terms. For this joining tutorial, I will use these 4 Starfish Square patterns, which are framed with 2 rounds of solid square, just like these solid squares, so it's the same method for both. In my Starfish Squares, I have 3 chain stitches in the corner, so you can make the same on the last round of your solid squares. I will leave links to both these patterns, the solid square and the starfish square, down below in the description box for you, as well as the written pattern to go along with this tutorial for my starfish square. And yeah, let's see how we make this beautiful seamless joining. I think we are just ready and we can jump right into the making. So now I'm ready with my starfish squares to be joined, and they are all framed with 2 rounds of solid squares. So what I'm going to show you here in this video is the same joining method for the starfish squares and for the solid squares. So the first thing I want to do is to replace my layout. So for this tutorial, I'm going to use these 4 squares. So I decided that this is the right layout for me. In this joining, I am going to join all my vertical lines, and then I'm going to join all the horizontal lines. So I will start by arranging the layout of my squares, and I'll put one by one and I'll decide which I want to be where. And I will join all the vertical lines first, and then I will join all the horizontal lines. So this is the first thing I want to do. And for this demonstration, I'm going to use the same color as in the framing. It's the shell gray color from my Granny Kit cotton yarn. And I'm going to be using the same hook size, which is a 3mm hook. It's the same hook I crocheted my squares. In this joining, which we call the single crochet to back loop, I'm going to use the back loop of each stitch in my square's edge. So let's just make sure that we all understand what is the back loop. So if I look at this edge, I see all of these stitches, and in each stitch I see these 2 loops. In this joining method, I'm going to use the back loop only of each stitch. So this is the back loop, this is the front loop. The front loops will be free. They will not work in this joining, but they will create a very aesthetic line, which we are going to see in just a while. I want to make sure I have the same number of stitches in each and every side of the squares, in all the squares. So in this case, I have 19 double crochet stitches in each side in all of my squares, and I have 3 chain stitch in each of the corners. So now I'm ready to join, and I want to start by putting my squares one on top of the other, so right sides facing each other, and I'm going to be joining this line. So I'm going to start in this corner down here and go all the way up, join this corner, and then join the next couple of squares. So let's start by joining the first corner. I want to insert my hook into the back loop of the second stitch in the corner. I have 3 stitches and I want to use the middle stitch and to insert my hook into the middle stitch, back loop only, and then middle stitch back loop only of the corresponding stitch. Grab the yarn all the way in front and chain one. Now I want to make a single crochet into the same stitch. And just as a side note, I usually work on top of the yarn tail just to hide it underneath my stitches and not to weave it in later. But for this demonstration, I will leave it back. I will leave it behind so you have like a clear view to see what I'm doing without any yarn tail to disturb us. So now I have my corner stitches joined, and I want to go ahead and join each and every stitch using back loops only from both of the squares. So let's go into the next stitch, back loop only from this one, back loop only from the next one, and these are still corner space stitches. And now I'm going to go under both of the next loops, back loops, and make a single crochet. Next stitch, 1 and 2, and single crochet. Let's do it a few more times together. Next stitch and the corresponding stitch, 2 back loops only, so I have the 2 loops on my hook, and single crochet. So let's make a little break and see what are we doing, and let's take a look at this beauty. So you see we only used back loops, and these front loops are making a beautiful roll of like 2 lines of front loop stitches, one next to the other. I am really in love with this little detail, and that's why I love this joining method. So I will continue working all the stitches all the way up to the next corner, and I'll meet you here again to join the next corner together. So here is our next corner. So I'm going to insert my hook into the next chain stitch in the corner space and into the next one, which is the second stitch into the corner space. So I started in the middle stitch of the corner of the first corner, and I end in the middle stitch of the corner. So second stitch here all the way up to the second stitch in the next corner. And this is my first 2 squares joined together. And now I want to go ahead and join the next couple of squares in the line. So I fold my squares, put my hook back into the stitch, and then I fold these squares one on top of the other, once again facing each other. And now I want to insert my hook into the second stitch in the first corner, which is the middle stitch in the corner, and to just continue and make a single crochet. And you want to make sure you have the right tension so you don't create any gap in the meeting point or this joining point. And then again I'm going to insert my hook under both stitches, next stitches of both squares, and I just continue to make my single crochet to back loop, joining all the way up to the next corner. And now I'm at the last corner space, so next stitch in the corner, the first corner stitch, and then the first corner in the corresponding square, and a single crochet, and to the second, which is the middle stitch, and that's it. I have my vertical line joined all the way from down here up to the end of my row, up to the end of the line. So you continue joining the next couple of squares and the next couple of squares, just like so. And then at the end you can cut the yarn and pull the loop all the way up. Now I'm going to be joining my horizontal line. So I'm going to fold these two on top of these two, insert my hook into the middle stitch in the corner space, attach the yarn, make a chain 1, and then a single crochet into the same point. So now I'm going to make a single crochet all the way up to the first corner, and I want to show you what I do in this corner space, or in this corner point where I already have these joining stitches showing. So let me do these stitches and I'll meet you when I'm here. So now I have the first squares joined, and I want to go ahead and join the corner, this corner thing here. So I know I used 2 corners chains in each of the squares, so I only have 1 chain in each of the corners left. So here is, if you put your finger underneath, you can see really clearly that you have only 1 stitch left in this square, and then the corresponding one on the other square. Then single crochet into both, and then I skip this little bundle of joining and I go ahead and join the next 2 chain stitches on the next corner, which is the first corner of my next 2 squares. And here I have my corner joined completely. So now I will go ahead and join all the way up to my next corner space. So now I'm at the last corner space, so I will go and join the first 2 chain stitches, and then next middle chain stitch and the corresponding one in the other square, and voila, we have 4 squares joined. We made the vertical line, and then now we made the horizontal line. We can cut the yarn. At the end of each line we can cut the yarn and pull the loop all the way up. And here is the solid square joining in the single crochet to back loop method. I love the way how the front loops left to play a new role in the whole aesthetic of the crochet project. I really love this little piazza, which is made here by the meeting point of these 4 squares, and I especially love all the corner chain spaces creating these lines all the way in the blanket, the future blanket to be. That's the way it looks in the front, and this is how it looks in the back side. It's It leaves the work very flexible and beautifully joined together. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching till the end of the video, and I'll see you on my next one.